I'm just gonna hit the button and be like, "Hi everyone, welcome. This is episode 98." We started talking about stuff, and we thought that might as well, We're just
Yeah.
talking about would I have my kid do homeschooling versus traditional schooling, and I'm like leaning very heavily towards that. Although I know that convincing my better half would be an entirely different task, because I don't know, like I can't say that I had a very good school experience. She, on the other hand, had a pretty good school experience, so she looks at it in a more positive way. Where I look at it, I look at the fact that like I got most of my knowledge despite going to school, and she thinks that she got most of that stuff because of going to school. So we're different in our interpretation of how that went. But I think that
Well,
if you are gifted, school public school is like a really bad idea for you, because public school is its essence of greatest common denominator and like catering to the slowest person in class. So if you are gifted, you're gonna be just bored out of your fucking mind. Just like, oh my god, you know.
so no, school then, if you're gifted. Because I feel like you need school either ways. Gifted or not.
Well, you don't need like. Why do you need school though?
Come on,
As a
Vasily, you need
thing, as a
school.
thing. Why do you
You
say
could be
that?
gifted. Okay, so this is how
Okay,
I say it, right?
so
You know
before you
what?
go, I just give you like a quick comparison.
Okay,
Saying
okay.
you need school is in the
Mhm.
same vein of saying you need to eat your vegetables.
No,
Like, yes, it's like you
no.
say that, but why?
I can give you my own opinion.
Okay.
You can you can afford to not eat your vegetables because there is no actual proof. I mean, if you can find this nutrient that you get from vegetables and other things, you can be an option. And up till now, you know how I feel about nutritional science. I don't even know if I believe a lot in nutritional science, first of all.
Wait
So
until you start
this
digging about
is
educational science. You're gonna be horrified
okay.
even more.
Okay, so what I know about education, and this is just education as it is that you could be talented, but you don't even know that you have a talent if you don't go to school, first of all. And you could you could be really good with like a lot of things, but it's in school that you develop this ability. Like you if you go to a good school, that's why you have to go
Well,
to a good school.
okay.
So
So
so if
how
you
do you figure
go
out a criteria for what a good school is then?
this is
Because like it's very easy to say, it's like, oh, just go to a good school. Don't go to bad school, and then you'll be fine. It's like, okay, well,
I'm
what
speaking
follows
of
from
myself,
that?
Vasily. Vasily, for me, I feel like um, there are some lessons that I learned in life that developed who I am just from the relationship like that I was able to build with school and with like my teachers in school. And I feel like that helped me a lot in life. And I'm still a beneficiary of this. I know how like there is there are names that I would probably would like to mention, like
Hmm.
of certain teachers that had like very positive influence
Do
in
do
my
you
life.
mean like are you talking about like high school or what stage?
Every layer of school that I've actually been through, like even as far as I can remember, the primary, even
Hmm.
till uni, even till my when I was in a school for my masters. Like I feel there are certain people that you come in contact with that they inspire you to do more for yourself, you know? Like you can choose to stay at home and read books. That could also inspire you based on the author that wrote certain books, whatever. But depending on who you are, um, I don't think going to school can be compared to like eating your vegetables. I don't think so. I think
I'm not comparing the process. I'm comparing
I don't
the
think so.
conventional wisdom. It's like people just say like, "Oh, you have to go to school," but nobody really understands why, and nobody really understands the side effects of doing that either. Because nothing is without consequence, right? Nothing is without side effects. Like you can get a lot of benefits from school, but like there's also all these drawbacks, right, that you have to consider.
True. And like any other thing in life, like
Well, right, but
staying at
like it's kind
there's
of it's
drawbacks with staying at home too, There's because then you become very you're unable. It affects how you socialize. Listen, we are
why
supposed to
though?
be.
Why? Like, do you not talk to other people, other places? Like you're saying, like school is the
If
only place for kids to like talk to other
that's the
people and socialize.
that's the
That doesn't.
first that's the first place you actually meet people in your own peer group that you're able to socialize with.
But is it necessarily a good thing?
I think it's an important step.
You see,
Like
that's interesting. Okay, hold on one second.
I think it's an important step.
I was listening to an interesting conversation about it that basically said that with the advent of kids taking their life lessons from their peer group as opposed to from adults, kind of messed a lot of things up. It created its own sort of subculture, because like school is this artificial ecosystem. Like it's not very natural, right? You don't normally see the delineation that school provides. Like, everybody's same age. That's weird. Like, why? And again, it's kids learning. Like, there's one adult in class with like 24 to 30 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of having like individual attention to you, that's basically unheard of. Like, unless you go to some private school where there's like 5 people per class, fine, maybe. But I'm saying like specific like public school, like public education, where you just thrown into a class with like 30 kids, same age, all different levels of ability, all different interests, like nothing in common. You're there. Like, you make friends with kids at school because you literally have no other options. And like, if you just think about it, like how many people from school, like from high school, how many people from high school would you consider your close friends today still?
A few?
What, like
A
the
few.
ones that you like talk to more than casual Happy New Year, Happy Birthday twice a year?
Yeah,
That's it.
actually, yeah. Yeah, a few. Like I have friends that I've known since
Okay, like
my
you may have like one or two.
yeah.
I think most people in the best outcome case, they have like pretty much all of the friends you make in school are only gonna be during school. Like pretty much none of them survive later
Okay.
stages in life.
Okay. You know, this is my opinion, right? There are pros and cons for everything, and I think the pros on my own, for my own opinion,
Mm-hmm.
outweighs the con. And if I'm listing the pro, right, I'm gonna bring about I'm really gonna do a little writing because it helps me think about it now.
Yeah,
So
no, fair
like
enough.
you you if you do the homeschooling, right?
Yeah.
If you do homeschooling, you get to control the
Mm.
knowledge
I
that
lost you there
your
for a
child
second.
is going to consume.
Hello?
You are can you
Sorry,
are you
I
there?
lost you. You said you get to control, and after that, it was like a big gap. So I don't know. Can you maybe
You get to
repeat from there?
control the knowledge that your child is going to consume.
Right.
You are in control. So it's very narrow in that sense. Like
Why is
just
it narrow
once
though?
because it's just coming from you.
So
All they know is I'm explaining it.
my
Wait,
my,
hold on.
my interests and knowledges are far and wide. It doesn't have to be
That's
narrow
what you
just because
think,
it's coming
Vasily.
from me.
That's what you think. And but
No,
also
it's not what I think. It's what I know about myself and the things that I know. Right? You're saying like it's narrow, but it's
no.
not.
So even give me 2 minutes. Let me
Sure,
explain this
sure.
point.
Sorry. I didn't
So,
mean to interrupt. Yeah.
so Um, it's coming from you. All the knowledge they're gonna get is gonna come from you or your partner or
Also
whoever is
technically
around
not
them.
true, but okay, okay.
So, but it's controlled. That's the good part. On the other hand, knowledge is not just knowledge is not in my opinion, it's not in just one form. It's not about how much book you can read, about how there's also some type of knowledge that you don't gain at home that comes mostly from being around other peers. For example, understanding how to even competition in the first place.
Yeah,
Like
but like
knowing that,
you can do sports separately from school, and then you have your peers, and then you have your competition. Like school doesn't really add anything there.
okay, I'm still within my 2 minutes, Vasili.
Okay, okay, okay.
2 minutes. So you could do not just even sport, like competition is not, it's very understanding that you need to do more for yourself. You understand? Like, for example, there's small things. For example, you could see like maybe also just social knowledge, like there is a lot. Fair enough, you could say that you could do sports and like with other people, but it's going to be other people. Imagine like you can't do the same level of sports that you do with your peers as you're going to do with adults. It's not going to be the same level. And
But why does it
also,
have to be with adult? That's the part I'm not getting, Mo. I'm sorry for
you know what?
interrupting
At
you.
this
It's
point,
just like
I feel like at this point, I feel like I'm doing. I feel like you understand the point. Like you understand where I'm coming from,
I think I
but
understand where
you
you're
have a
coming from,
preference.
but I
You have a
think that
preference.
it's not
If
even
you
the
have a preference, it's
preference.
okay.
I'm just saying that like all of the things that you mentioned don't have to come from school. They can come from someplace else.
Where? Where are they coming from?
Literally anywhere else. Like you're saying
Like
like, oh,
where?
kids, what do you mean like outside? Outside.
Who is outside these days, Vasily?
Well, that's a fair point. With technology, not many people are outside, but that's the thing, right? Like you can find like-minded people, and you can still,
This is where we are. Like
we
in
still
this,
have neighborhood kids playing outside when the weather is good, so it's not all lost.
when the weather is good. When is this? This is not even like 3% of the year, you
Right, but
know?
like, okay, maybe, but I still think that like the idea that kids have to hang out with their peer group, like, what is a peer group? Can you define what a peer group means to
Yeah,
you?
like yeah, people within your age and your mental.
But like, okay, like what is good? What, okay, like just I'm just thinking about like what is good about hanging out exclusively with people only of your age?
It's, you see, I'll answer this way, right? I have the privilege of growing up with people who are way older than me, like my siblings are. And I also had the privilege of being around people who are, you know, like even outside of family and work. And I've always had this privilege of being around people who are way older than me. The
Mm-hmm.
benefit of it is that you get to gain experience from their generation, from how they think, but also I find a lot of um, a benefit in being around people my age, people who are doing the same thing or at the same level of me in life, because then we get to relate on certain things that are not from way past, like there are new ideas that are still being developed,
Right,
new
but
minds
again,
that are
like
still being cultivated. Like we
fa-
get to share minds
th-
and we get to
that's
understand each other. You
that's
understand what
fair,
I'm saying?
but I'm saying like first of all, you have to consider it from a perspective of like if you're 5 or 6 years old. Like we're not talking about you today, right? Hanging out with your
No,
peer group. That like
even
that's different, right? That's different.
even as a from very young, sincerely. So like from like as much as I can
But
remember,
you
I've always been around
you
people.
yourself concede that like you get a lot of benefit from hanging out with people who are older than you. Maybe
It's good.
like when you're a kid and the gap is quite big and you have like really few points of connection, that's difficult, right? Because they just want to patronize you and teach you their wisdom and you're not ready to accept it yet. So that's maybe a bad mismatch. But like
I
I
felt like
remember, I think if you have a kid who's like a couple of years older than you, culturally it's not going to be that much different, but you will get the benefit of modeling their behavior, right? Which
that's
if
what I'm
you're
saying.
but if in
That's what I'm
school
saying.
everybody's same age, everybody's roughly on
Okay,
the same page, so like what behavior
you
whose
okay.
behavior are you going to model?
I feel
If you
like
just
we
have
have
a
to define something.
bunch of kids saying
Basically,
6 7 all the time, like that's the behavior you're going to model, like well duh, that's what
listen,
they do.
Vasili, you need both. You need the best of both worlds. You need education in school and education at home. I'm
I
not
think you need
saying just
education. I
go
just
to,
don't think school is a necessary
you need,
component in this
I
equation.
think you need both from school. Honestly, school is not just to go there to learn books or like learn about. There is a lot, even sometimes having a, I'm not encouraging bullying, but there are even some lessons that you learn from being bullied in school. Like, because life is not very structured like that, like you don't go through life like everything is just like this on the same level for the rest of your life. Like
But
everything is
that you're
controlled.
describing school. Everything is structured and
It's
everything is
not.
level.
The only thing that is structured in school is probably like the grading system. Like you don't even learn at the same capacity. Like nothing. Basically,
Exactly. You don't even learn at the same capacity. And you're saying, okay, let's
the-
put 30 kids in a room. They all learn at a different capacity and you go figure out like how is that going to work? Like
that's
they
what I'm
like
saying. Like there are lessons you learn just from being in this type of environment because now you have to figure it out. This is what you're doing. This is the knowledge. Figure it out is the knowledge because you know that there is some guy in your school, in your class who probably would not come to class and then would at the end of the semester or something like this gets like all A's. And then you know who you are, like you need to study like 2 to 3 times before the exam. So you get to train yourself on how to prepare for life. Also, someone might say something hurtful to you, and and you have to learn to move along with it. Like there are some people who right now someone
there's
can
Call of
say
Duty lobbies for that, you know.
there's some people right now like they don't have the emotional strength to get through some of these kind of challenges in life. Like someone says something to you or you had a conversation with someone and they say, oh yeah, you
I
look
honestly, I
like
honestly,
this.
I honestly fail to see how school help you with any of those things.
Listen, if you have a preference, that's different. But to say like school doesn't help, even public schools, like you said, they all come with different strength training in life. I feel knowledge is not very
No, I'm not saying they're completely
you can't
useless.
contain it, like knowledge is very wide. And for example, you say like you know a lot of things, but you know a lot of things because of you've been exposed to a lot of people and like a lot of you if you are you would not say like all the knowledge you have in life right now is coming from you just sitting in one room and just knowledge just comes to you. You get knowledge from like conversation with other
But
people.
that's what school is. You're sitting in the room and knowledge allegedly coming to you. Like you keep contradicting yourself on all these points.
No, I feel like you are trying to understand it in the way that you prefer. But me, I'm just trying to say like, um, knowledge comes not just from like, you know, in various ways. Like you learn
Yeah,
about
so it doesn't
life
have
in
to come from
various ways.
school. It comes in various
Honestly,
ways.
it doesn't have to. And I agree with this from the beginning. It doesn't have to. I just feel like it's an important, if you can afford it, it's good. It's good to have this experience. It doesn't have to. Honestly, it really doesn't have to. It's just
I think
there are
for
people
me,
who
like
homeschool that
the
has
negatives outweigh the positive. Like I'm not saying there's no positives. Obviously there are, but the model for like the entire system around the world. Pretty much most schools operate on the same model,
I agree. I
and that
think it could be
model,
improved.
I don't know. I think they're
I feel, listen,
so deep,
Vasili,
way out
I
their
feel
depth
like
there.
I feel like educational system in general can be very and am I scared of it? Yes, I am. I feel like even sometimes like I feel sometimes when I see younger people around here in this part of the world and I see how people behave and the model of life that they have, it scares me to say like I want my child to be part of this. It's scary because especially with the old introduction of internet, all of them have access to internet, knowledge that they have before we only gathered to actually socialize. Now we do more than just socializing now. We try to teach each other things. Imagine your child being taught how to live life by another 10-year-old or another
That's
12
probably
years.
one of the biggest reasons why you shouldn't
So
send your kids to school.
it's scary, but I think that's why I say like both needs to go hand in hand. The school
But
approach and the
why?
school
I don't understand it.
facility.
It's like, here's a
I
pile of
cannot help
shit and
you.
here's a pile of
I
food,
cannot.
and you have to eat
I
both in
cannot.
order to what?
I don't feel like I have enough experience to share with you to convince you on this. Like if I have a child that I've put through school, I would probably be able to tell you that, oh yeah, this is why you should do it or not do it. But I'm coming from my own personal life experience, right?
Right,
Like
right.
what
So
what I know
you
of myself.
maybe you've drawn a lucky hand and your school was really good to you, but
Maybe,
I find that that is more rare than not, I would think.
maybe. I mean, I'm yet to meet someone my age who was homeschooled throughout. I would like to see how life is treating this person because um I think I was having a conversation about this like a while ago. Like knowledge as it in its own terms, like it's not something that you can contain. Like you cannot. There is knowledge in almost everything. Like it's too wide, like to just say, oh yeah, just go through this bottle. This is all how you get knowledge, just like this, you know.
But you're
Like
describing school. You're describing school. How do you
only
not
one
see
part
it?
of school is no. Only one part of school looks like this. That's what I'm saying. Like it's school is not just the classroom. It's not just the classroom. It's the lunch time. It's the beginning of school, the ending of school, like the conversations you have with your friends, like the arguments that you have in class, like the small challenge that you put yourself through, like
But
the small thing.
they're not the exclusive provider of any of those things, is what I'm trying to say. You can do all of those things elsewhere, probably more
Where?
effectively.
Where?
What do you mean
Vasily, if you
where?
give
Do
me
you not live
where,
life? Do you not have friends? Do their friends not have kids that your kids can hang out with? Do you not take your kids with you various places and show them and like they get to talk to
I
people?
didn't get this. Okay, maybe
Well,
I should
fair
say
enough. Okay, but like it's not like
I
it
didn't
doesn't
get this.
exist.
And even if it does, I feel like it's no different. For example, you could say, "Oh yeah, your child is hanging out with your friend's child," and so you think like you have controlled their relationship. But what do you think your friend's child is hanging out that is hanging out with your child? What do you think they're doing together? Like how do you even know
Well,
what knowledge they're
what are they
passing?
doing together at school? Like you have exactly zero input there and there, so you can like completely factor it out. Like it's
I'm
not a
not.
deciding factor. In fact,
I feel like
you can control the kind of kids they hang out through your friends way more. You could control the kind of kids they hang out with at school.
this control is how do you say? I think there's a word for it. Like you think you're in control, but you're not really
But like
because you think like
I'm not even
you
making
think
the
you're
control.
controlling it,
I'm not making the
but you're not
control
really.
argument. I'm not
No,
making the like you're the one who keep bringing up control. I'm not making the control argument.
no, this
Certainly
is
there's parts of it within it, right? But that's not
no,
the primary
no.
thing.
That's not what we're doing. Honestly, Vasili, I feel like I should say it again, Rachel. I'm not arguing to say send your kids to school. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there are certain knowledge that you get at school that you don't get from homeschool. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying like being in
But like
school
what?
kind of
Like
prepares
what?
you more for
I
life.
still fail to see what that could be.
Being in school prepares you more for life. Like you, for example,
It
you
prepares you
go to
for a
work.
kind of life, but is it the kind of life you would rather have? Like, do you know the origins of modern school system?
Tell me.
Like the origin of modern school system with like the classes, it was like
Is to
the
prepare you for labor, right?
it's to prepare you for like factory work effectively.
Are you going to do this, or do you have? Are they going to go to this factory work? Because right now it's no longer factory work. We're now 9 to 5s or whatever where you work, or even you work in your own business. It's just you are going to be by yourself at some point, and you're going to be exposed to the same people that you think that you were avoiding when you were homeschooling. You're still going to be exposed to them, except
But
now you'll be
it's
exposed to
not
them as
about,
an
again, it's
adult.
not about avoiding people. It's about efficacy. I think you can, like, in terms of the kind of knowledge that a person needs to operate successfully in society, like
Mhm.
I hope you agree that everybody needs some sort of baseline in terms of the
Mhm.
skills that they need to have to successfully operate in society. Like, not everybody needs to learn trigonometry or differential equations, right? Not everybody needs to learn chemistry and biology. People have different
Mhm.
interests. Like, not everybody needs to learn science. So, but everybody needs to learn like to write, to speak, to
Mhm.
think, to read,
Mhm.
to do math enough to understand how, you know,
Mhm.
credit card APRs work, and like how mortgages work, and how to figure out your
Mhm.
taxes so you can be a productive part of society, right? Like that doesn't really take that much. Everything else on top of that,
Mhm.
if you mm, teach your kid how to learn, everything else is acquirable when it's necessary, right? Like
Okay.
if you have a certain interest in something and you know how to go about learning about it, you will learn about it, right?
Okay. So
So if
this is,
what I'm saying is
I
like if you're
think,
homeschooling, you can probably do that in like 2 years. You don't have to spend
okay.
10, what you can do in
Okay.
2 or 3 with less
I,
drama
you see,
and suffering.
this part I agree with you, but I think this is where we are diverging, right? Because for you, you see school as where you get like educational knowledge. This is just one part of the things that you get in school. You may not. You could go, there are many people who go to school to study particular courses or something like this, and they don't even end up doing anything with it in life.
Exactly. It's a
So,
colossal waste of time.
no, no, it's not. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not just for the educational knowledge that you get. There is the social knowledge that you also gain from this. There's also the emotional knowledge that you gain from this. There's a lot of different types of knowledge that you
And
gain
all
from
I'm
being
saying
in
is
this.
that you can get all of that elsewhere as part of
If you
your
prefer
regular
to,
life. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And now I've said yes, you can, but why? Like, why do you
Because
want to?
you can do, you as a
Up to
parent
you.
can
It's up
do a
to you to
better
decide.
job of it, I would say. You can do a better job of it. You can do it in
That
less time,
that
with less effort, less money, more tailored, because it's like
would
in
you do it?
person.
Would
Huh?
you do it? Would you be the one to do it? Or like would you so for example, like I feel like me, part of the reason why I prefer school is because um I don't know if I will have enough time to do it.
No, that's
Because
fair.
what we,
Like,
this that we're talking about is constant presence. Requires constant presence of
well, it doesn't
sitting.
require constant presence. Again, like, So my big contention with school is like it's essentially another form of daycare. It's like we have to ship these kids, like both parents are working, we have to ship these kids somewhere for like 8 hours a day so that their parents can go to work and do work and come back, and kids can be left alone to their own devices at home. So we have to ship them off to somewhere, and while they're there, they might as well learn how to read good and do other things good too. You know, if you know the reference, you know the reference. But
Okay.
because it's a giant daycare and it has to stretch out until effectively your kids are like of age, like they go to university or whatever. So you send the kids off to school when they're like 6 or 7, and then they graduate by the time they're like 17 or 18. So it's like 10 years worth of like dicking around, wasting all this time because both parents have to be at work and nobody can take care of the kid. That's like on the family side of things. The education side of things is like it started off first originally it started in like Austro-Hungarian Empire circa World War I because Kaiser Wilhelm needed obedient soldiers for his army. So the entire model is like you sit, you receive your instruction, we tell you what to do, and you do it. And if you don't do it, you get punished. And then Industrial Revolution comes around the same time, and it's like, okay, we need factory workers, so that's why there's a bell. It rang, you can go. It rang, you have to come back. It rang, oh, you can go pee. It rang, oh, you can go eat. Otherwise, you sit there and you like bang out your widgets 8 hours a day, you know, nonstop. So in terms of like quality, it's ass. In terms of amount of time it takes, it's ass. You get to hang out with people you probably wouldn't hang out normally. You're kind of forced to because you're all put in a close proximity and be like, okay, these are now 30 people that you get to pick your peers from. And here's like a sprinkle of bullying on top. And, you know, all of these things. And if you need to prepare somebody for adult life, you can do it in less time with less effort and make it more interesting to them, all at the same time. So like if you can, I don't think why you wouldn't. The problem is
Yeah,
that most people can't.
that's exactly. You see, if you can do it, if you have the time and the energy to do it yourself, sure. This is like having your food cooked at home. Like home cooked meal is good. Nobody wants to really go to a restaurant for food. You don't have to go to a restaurant to eat if you know how to cook by yourself. So yeah,
But
if
like
you can
people
do it at
destroyed
home.
their ability to cook at home and their desire to cook at home, and now like I don't know. Do you ever watch Financial Audit on
As
YouTube?
a show? Oh no, no,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
show
know
on
about that.
YouTube. Yeah. It's like Caleb Hammer. He has this show about
Are you still here?
people's financial troubles. It's very illuminating. You should check it out.
Hello.
It's pretty funny and sad at the same time. And it's like people spend thousands of dollars on like Uber Eats because they don't know how to freaking cook at home. You know.
Yeah, honestly, I can't
So
judge these people.
I mean, I can't. Well, on one hand, it's not okay to, but on the other hand, they're entirely like. See, that's kind of funny. That's like the big divide between between people because arguably, you know, some people believe that they are the reason for their own misfortune, and other people believe that like external forces are the reason for their own misfortune. And depending on which side you lean towards, it kind of determines a whole bunch of things about you. Kind of like broad strokes, you can kind of tell. You know, like
Yeah,
if you think that you are the cause of your own misfortune, you're like more likely to be like more
fix
conservative
it.
and have like right wing ideas. And if you think that everybody else is responsible for what happens to you, then you're more likely to be like more left wing. And it's like a lot of people on these shows, like they put themselves in a really bad financial situation through their own actions, and so they only really have themselves to blame. So in fact, yeah, we should judge them because they did it to themselves, and they can maybe not as easily, but they can definitely change that. The problem is that they don't see anything wrong with that. So it's like, okay, well, if you don't see anything wrong with that, keep remaining in the situation that you're in. And I don't know, we kind of jumped to it from the talk about like home cooked meal is better than eating out. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, bespoke, tailored education for your, because like arguably who's gonna have my child's best interest,
Than you.
me or rando from some school somewhere? They could be a great
You.
person, they could love kids, but still it's some abstract idea of some other else's people's kids. Like you cannot possibly have every student in your class's best interest at heart. That's just not how it works. So
No.
in that regard, the only people really are going to be the parents, and then the further down line you go of extended family, like their like sort of involvement is going to decrease. Not involvement, but like their even
I don't even
having
think every
best
member of the
interest, like
family.
they're not going to have the kid's best interest at heart. They would say that they do, but they're not going to really do anything about it, right? Because they have their own problems. Maybe they have their own kids, so it's fine, right? So from that perspective, like you are the person that is the positioned the best to do that, and also to,
But can you do
that's the
it?
question, right? That's the question: is can you do it or not?
That's the thing. Like, because I think everyone would, honestly, when you really look at the idea of homeschooling, a lot of people would probably want to opt for it because you get, like you said, you get to be, um, you have your best interest of your child's best interest, right?
Yeah,
But except you have a certain way to live life that you don't have to go to work, or you don't have to do anything else than to just be in your child's life,
mm-hmm.
because they demand a lot of attention, they demand a lot of time. They would
Yeah,
There is a particular phase of their life where they have like tons and millions of questions that
yeah.
you are the only one to answer them. Will this be like a thing that you can do? It's not so simple, honestly.
No,
The
I mean,
education
I
part
understand that
is
potentially I'm like completely talking out of my ass because I haven't entered that stage yet. But
I mean,
again, remember a couple of conversations ago, I was talking about how you can frame the way that you relate to it, and you can frame it in a way it's like, oh my god, my kid is asking me all these questions nonstop. It's such a
oh
drag.
yeah,
Like, oh fuck. Or you can be like, dude, this is so exciting. They're learning about the world, and
yeah,
I can help them
yeah.
explore it. Like, how exciting is that? Like, you get that opportunity like once, maybe twice in your life. Like, how can you be annoyed
Except,
at that?
no, it's not being annoyed that I'm coming from. I think it's also like you having enough knowledge to answer these questions, because some people are trained for this. There are some people who are actually trained with like how to interact with children, or like people at different ages in life. If you This is what people learn at our educational school. Like if you go to schools where they are trained to be teachers and stuff like this, there are certain ages. So y- there are certain questions that they might ask you, and you will answer them like you answer any other question. And this could scar them, like the margin of error to make in a child's life
But like,
is so
did you
small,
ever see those
so small.
TikToks about these crazy teachers with like purple hair talking absolutely like fucking nonsense to
Of
like
course.
kindergarten kids? Like, why would I want to subject my kids to any of that garbage?
I'm actually, first of all, I'm surprised that you watch TikToks. So
I
now
don't
that I
watch
know that you work,
I don't watch TikToks. I know of existence of TikToks because they're featured on other things I watch.
I
Um,
mean, possibly they are going to be like I said, I don't think school is the safest. Like, I think I'm really out reiterating this point. I don't think it's like the safest heaven, or like the place where like your children are sick. You still have to do the work at home, even
yeah,
when they come back from school. You need to know what they have learned in school, and help them to adjust this knowledge at home? I think you need both. This is what I'm saying.
But how does that normally go? How was school? Okay, what did you learn? Stuff. Okay, fair enough. Off with your
No,
day
no, I
then.
think it depends on the kind of relationship that you have with
It
your child.
does.
For
It does.
example,
It does.
like if you have a good, the type of relationship where they feel comfortable to share things that happen in school with you, they
But
could
then,
they
like,
could tell you
when do you
more.
find time to build that relationship if they spend like they spend most of their waking hours with other people apart from you? Like, how are you even gonna
No,
build that
no,
relationship?
that's on you.
What do you mean
I
that's on
think
me? There's
that's
not enough hours in a day. They need to sleep for at least 8. Another 8 they're like in school, and then other 6 they're doing homework from school, which is also like one of the things that drives me nuts. It's like you can't teach them things in class and then have them live life when they come home. It's like, no, first you do a bunch of hours at school, you fry your brain entirely, and then you come home and then you have to do homework. It's like
you
it's
could.
like imagine that you worked 8 hours at the office, and then you come home and your boss is calling you. He's like, "Oh, by the way, there's like 3 Jira tasks that I need you to do today," and you're like, "Oh fuck!" Like that's basically what school does, and everyone's okay with it. Like, why? Like they're doing overtime every day. Like
Vasily,
how
I
is that
cannot.
good? How is that normal?
I cannot defend this point, but I know that um maybe you would have to find like as a parent. I'm not even saying you directly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying generally, like
Right.
as a parent, that we would have to find the time to create this bond because even if they're not in school, it's possible not to have this bond if you don't find the time to really like build this
No,
relationship.
that's certainly
Yeah.
true. But I mean, having
So
more time together is gonna be making
I
it
think
easier to build the bond rather than having less time together, wouldn't you say?
uh, I don't know. It depends on the relationship, how you build. Because if you have more time together, that could also be a recipe for clashing. I don't know. I feel like
How did
maybe
people do
would.
it for hundreds of thousands of years before
I don't
school came
know.
along? How did we even
I
freaking survive? I
really,
wonder. Gee
I
whiz.
really, I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just hope for the best here. I'm hoping for the best because I think, like you said, like there are different people who do this job of teaching like a regular job, but it's not just a regular job. Like some people's life are in your hands. The future is literally in your hands. Like you need to understand this. I hope people understand this. But then again, you cannot trust 100% that the school is doing what they should do, no matter how well and how reputable this school is. So you still have to come home as a parent to verify what is going on in your child's
Yeah, but
life.
then like it's kind of
Not
mirrors
just
the whole.
educationally, not
It's
just
it
in terms of education or what they're learning educationally. You still have to build, like,
But
for
like, if you
example,
have to verify everything they do after them, why would you trust them to do it in the first place? Like, either I
Vasily, for example.
defer everything to you and then I don't have to think about it, or I do it
Mhm,
myself. But if like I defer it to you and then I have to verify everything you do,
mhm.
then we're wasting time, right?
Again, it's a preference, a matter of preference. And
No, I get
I'm
that.
not,
I'm just advocating a point. I'm trying to
okay,
find
yeah,
weaknesses in the
yeah,
idea, right? It's
yeah,
nothing.
possibly.
I'm not taking it personally, right?
No, no, I know you know. It's just for me, I feel like if I had like a concrete example, I'll be able to like give it to you like, oh yeah, this is what is fact, and I know for a fact. But I don't. What I'm telling you here is just my personal life and things that I see around me, and maybe also from my nieces and nephews and like people close to me that are growing. So, for example, I was going to give you an example, right? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know when I was in, I think there's some experiences that I saw in high school, especially when you start becoming like a teenager. You see that very early phase of teenage when like at like 11, 12, when you start seeing yourself as a as a big boy or a big girl, like
Hmm.
it, I feel like that particular period is one of the most delicate period of anybody's life. The the mentality and the knowledge that you gain at that age stays with you for a very long time. I don't even know how well therapy can help you adjust after this. And because it just stays. This defines who you are. If you're lucky, you are able to be around people who can support you with the right type of knowledge during this period. And if you're not, I guess maybe later in life it could help help can come. And I was gonna give an example, like I remember growing up, like I feel in my school then at that age people started having like, boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever, like, at that very small age, to me, it seems small now. Now that I'm looking back, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a very small age. But at that time, I thought we all knew what we were doing, and like, yeah, of course, you can do whatever you want. And now, if you ask me, would I let my child go through this? I have no choice, right? But I'll be very conscious of it because I know the kind of things that could have happened, that can happen in this age. So this is the time where you start to like frame the child's mind. So like the relationship at home is very important too,
Yeah, but that's the thing,
much
right? Like
more than the
I
relationship in
agree.
school.
I agree with everything you say, but at the same time, like if they get to spend more time with your children compared to you, they are going to be more successful in shaping your children to their way of thinking compared to you, because it's like literally the amount
Yeah,
of time you put in
yeah,
versus amount, like they have more time with your children than you. So
true.
if you think that you're gonna send your kids to public school and then they will have your values, you're woefully mistaken.
Absolutely. 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 Like I feel there's some people who, like you said, see, it's easy to say like, oh, you should do this as a parent or you should not do this, but the life of everybody is different. Like what you can afford is different. Some
Yeah.
parents can afford to do it, some parents cannot, and we cannot hold anybody in like judgment like this is what you should have done to train up your child. They have to do what they have to do. So like if you have to work long hours and you send your children to boarding school and they're there in the boarding school, and it's because you have to do it's life. But
No, I get it.
I'm just
Like
saying
again,
I'm just
I'm
saying
not
that
really begrudging anyone their choices that are shaped by their circumstances. Like I
it
understand that for 95% of people that's the only option and they're thankful to have it. And
yeah,
that it is what it is. But at the same time, like if you have the opportunity and if you have the ability to do it differently, like I think I would.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
aiming for it, right? I'm aiming for that because like I want to. You want to give the best possible starting point, right?
Absolutely.
So if you can do something in 3 years compared to 10 in terms of basics, and then you can dedicate the rest of it to their pursuits so you can get like really good at them, wouldn't that be better than dicking around for 10 years and then like, oh, I need to go to college and I need to spend next 10 years finding myself? It's like, fuck that. It's such a waste of time.
Yeah, you see, this is where now we can talk about like the things that I would like to see and get improved in the educational system. I feel like um sometimes, aside from the other things that you can gain from being in school, I feel like sometimes it feels like the way the educational system is shaped is like considering everyone is the same, in a way.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, and everyone is not the same. Like, we
exactly.
don't, for example, we don't all learn the same way. We don't
Yeah.
think the same way. We like, everyone is kind of different. But this design is to assume that we can all be brought up the same way. And I think this is a
And I think that
challenge.
assumption is wrong for most part.
I genuinely, I feel like it's, for example, like everyone has different strengths. I used to say like you don't teach a fish how to fly,
R- Yeah.
but put the fish in water, they swim better than eagles or
There are
whatever, you
some
know,
fish
like
that fly, though. There are some fish that fly, and there
which
are some
one?
birds that swim.
Eh, some, but
Right.
in the
But that's
general
that's the
sense of
thing.
it,
Some, right? There's only some.
yeah,
There's only like a handful if you're so lucky,
yeah,
right?
in the general sense of it, that's what I'm trying to say. So like, I feel like school doesn't really give everyone the same kind of opportunity. Like I know some of my friends like that we went to maybe uni together and we were studying the same courses and I feel like yeah, I one comes to mind right now. This guy was like the best salesman that I've actually ever come across. Like, but we were both studying computer science. So 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 yeah, So it's everyone's skill is different.
Yeah.
And
I remember
you
there was this comic, like this web comic, and it's basically like it was like a single frame comic, and it's like a mother giving birth to a child, and like
Mhm.
there's like the doctor and the father, and the kid comes out with like the ski goggles, the skis, and the sticks
Mhm.
in his
Mhm.
hands, and he's like all covered in like gore and everything, and like clutching these little skis and
Mhm.
everything. And the dad is like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be such a great lawyer," and it's just like,
Oh yeah. You see, yeah, yeah, it's like that sometimes, like it is what it is. Good luck to everyone. Parenthood is very fragile. So yeah, you don't
yeah,
know. You make all these decisions blindly and hoping that you're making the right ones because you
yeah.
don't even know what is coming next in life. So it is what it is.
Well,
Let's see.
if the podcast continues, we'll revisit it in 5 to 6 years, I guess.
I would like to know, honestly. I've been outside of the podcast. I'm curious to see what decision you will end up taking. If you would, I think you will be a good um, influence, like a teacher. If you decide to do homeschooling, I think I can trust. I mean, you enjoy it, sharing knowledge.
Yeah,
So, but would you have enough time to do it? That's the thing. That's the question. Like, do you think you do?
I guess we'll see. I don't know. Maybe maybe some businesses will make it so that you know we don't have to be full time employed, and then there's gonna
To
be
be
time
honest.
to do something else.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
that's the
think I
good in
think I
life.
think that would be a worthwhile pursuit, if anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah. Anyway.
I don't know. I'm optimistic about the future.
Me too. Me too. Honestly, me too. We'll see. You helped me to think more about this now because I'm also at this stage where I'm preparing my mind for stuff like this. So
I think
we'll
that
see.
like I have been thinking about these things for quite a while, mostly because of my own dissatisfaction with my own schooling. I feel like a lot of my early potential was kind of squandered there.
Hmm.
And I have a feeling that if it went a different way, I could have achieved completely different things in life. Like, I mean, again, I'm not regretting the things I've achieved in life, but like it could have been, I feel like it might have been more. I don't know if that would have been a good thing or a bad thing. I'm always looking back at like some sort of um like I remember watching this documentary about this Ukrainian ballet prodigy. It was like a little child, and his family basically put him in like some Royal London Ballet School or something like that, like back in the 90s. And his father had to work all the time outside of country to like make the money to put him through the school. And eventually like his parents divorced because of that, because they were basically like living apart for like decades effectively. and he like spent he dumped all of his skill points in ballet basically, and then had a very illustrious career, so to speak. But then again, like if you're like in late 20s in ballet, you're basically going out to pasture. It's kind of like professional sports. Like once you hit your
Mm-hmm.
30s, you're out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like he paid the price of like his family falling apart. He's basically spent his entire time doing nothing but ballet. He was like, his mother couldn't live in the country officially. She didn't have a visa. So it was essentially like a boarding school situation for him. So he was like in a different country with like all these people. And ballet is like a highly competitive thing. Everybody's like constantly stabbing each other in the back about like who's going to move forward and stuff. And like I watched this documentary about like him reflecting on it. It's like, yeah, he achieved greatness in that particular domain, but at the same time, the kind of price he had to pay for it, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
if I were in his shoes, would I have paid it? Also knowing that once you hit like 32 years old, your only
Stop.
option is basically okay. Like you can teach it to it's like a multi-level marketing pyramid. Now you have to teach it to some other kid. Like that's the only
Yeah.
thing you're realistically gonna be able to do because that's all of your life, and you still have like I don't know, like 60, 50, 60 years ahead of you in life, and like you've achieved your pinnacle now, and like
Mm-hmm.
now what? So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's I don't necessarily regret it, but like you know I don't know if I told you, but like I learned how to read when I was 3 years old.
Dying.
Yeah. So like by the time I was in first grade, when most kids were like starting to learn alphabet, I read entire books basically at that time. But
You. How did you learn that? Your parents?
I I, I don't necessarily know. I don't remember myself at that age that much, but that's like a well known fact. Like when I was in first grade, when kids were learning how to read, they would do these sort of tests where they would time you in terms of like how many words you read per minute out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a book somewhere. My grandma probably maybe still has it on her bookshelf, but it had like a little note written on it because it was like given to me as a prize, and it says like for being able to read like 167 words per minute out loud in first grade.
Wow.
So
Okay.
and that kind of mostly went nowhere, unfortunately, because the like in the first grade I was in a school close to home and I don't really remember that much out of it. But like after that I went to like allegedly very prestigious school with like focus on foreign languages that I had to like take 45 minutes worth of buses and subways to get to every day, right? And it was a complete shit show for me. Like the teacher hated my guts. She would never give me any kind of good grades for anything I did. So eventually I said, fuck it. Like if I'm not gonna get good grades for anything, I might as well just do nothing because like it's easier and the end result is gonna be exactly the same. And I kind of
Mm,
coasted like that till I was in grade eight. Like in grade eight, before I moved to Moscow and went to an entirely different school, I don't think I've ever done like a single homework assignment. I just didn't give two shits about any of that stuff because of mostly how first like because like for first like 3 or 4 years, like grade 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, we kind of had like the homeroom style. It was like one teacher teaching all the subjects except something specialized like physical education or like painting or like music, whatever. So we had the same teacher that like for some reason had an axe to grind against me, and she put me off studying so much by like just the way that she was treating me that I
mhm.
literally only started to kind of bounce back from that in grade 9 when I went to Moscow and went to an entirely different school. And I was like thoroughly embarrassed in front of the principal when they were like he was trying to give me like an exam to see if he can admit me or not, and I felt like
Mm.
a complete retard because I didn't really know anything. So yeah, like I had a really shit experience at school, and like I don't want to subject my kid. Like if my kid is gifted in some way, I don't want to subject them to any kind of that, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, different perspective. I
Yeah.
understand it now. Honestly, I understand it. And yeah, uh, I'm sorry that happened.
No,
Yeah,
it's like it is
I'm
what it is,
actually,
right? It happened. Like it's funny how you like if you start really digging through how much because like when you look back at your childhood and like your school, you probably remember like all the good things, but you kind of don't really remember like the bad things unless you start digging because your subconscious just kind of pushes it out the way a little bit because like and if you start digging, it's like oh my god, that freaking sucked, you know? Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true. Honestly, yeah, you're right. It's different perspective like
Yeah.
this. I don't think everyone has the same kind of perspective from going through school. And this is a very good example that you shared. Like it's a very and nobody wants to, listen, you're right. Honestly, it changes how I feel about it, but if you can protect your child in a way from it, I think it's good. I think in the end, like if you have a child that is gifted, being part of that child's life and monitoring how that child is doing in school and going through the school could also help in a way
Hmm.
if you have the time. Like and but I also know like the way the economy and the way life is structured, most parents spend a lot of time working to provide for the child
Yeah.
than actually being in the child's life. The child
Yeah.
still has to be provided for.
Which is
Nobody's gonna do
paradoxical
it.
because like if you want for them to be competitive, especially in this day and age, you can't you can't just dump them into school and hope that it will all work out. I think the game has changed like in last couple of years really.
Yeah,
Like the game
yeah.
has changed entirely and you can't play I mean it changes all the time, but in terms of like very very drastic change where the old the old wisdom about how to prepare people for life kind of stops working, right? Like I remember telling you that like when I had my mentee through my school here, I was like, what do I even tell the guy? Like,
Yeah.
I know nothing of this world because it's new, right? Like my
Yeah.
knowledge is now irrelevant
Mhm.
in this domain for most part. I mean, I think it still is, but like it is but also isn't and like I can no longer trust the like I cannot reliably say that this is going to be a very good advice. If like 10 years ago I could tell you the things that I know about things and say like I think that this is
Mm,
really good
mm,
information in terms of how you should organize what you're going to be doing in
mm.
the future. Like when we started
Yeah.
our interactions together, you know, I
Mhm,
was
mhm,
confident
mhm.
in what I was telling to you. Now I'd be like, ugh, I don't even know, you know? Like, I have nothing
Yeah.
to tell you in terms of like how successful it would be in the future. I'm not sure for myself. How can I be sure for some other person, right?
Yeah. But I think
Uh,
that's life, you know?
yeah, no, that's true. But I think that now, with that in mind, saying, oh, they're just gonna go to school, they're gonna go through the steps and they'll be fine in the end, I don't necessarily think that it's true
No,
anymore.
nah. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so either. That's just go to school and they'll be fine in the end. I don't think so either. I
Yeah.
think you still need the touch at home as well. Like you still need to be there at home as well. I feel like
I think
both,
that it almost needs to be kind of flipped. We need to revert back. Like
maybe.
I don't know if you need to run or if you have a couple of minutes still.
Yeah, I have a couple minutes still.
But like I was listening to this podcast. I mean, fair. I have to declare my bias. It's like it was a podcast about homeschooling in a lot of ways
Ah,
by a
okay.
person doing the homeschooling, but they were talking about this concept that like the whole concept of adolescence as like the middle stage between childhood and adulthood is an entirely new thing. Sorry, one second. Oh, oh no, never mind. I thought somebody was knocking on my door, but there
Okay.
was nobody. So yeah, like as I was saying, like the concept of adolescence is a fairly new thing that kind of came about with the proliferation of um, school. and like sending your children to school. And they were saying like how, like the founding father of the United States, George Washington, was working as a professional at 16 years old. Like there was no, what am I going to do with my life, period. It's like, you started learning, you apprenticed with somebody, you kind of picked the domain that you want to be in and you grew in it. And then by 16, he was working professionally as like a surveyor or something like that. I don't remember exact details, but the whole point is like, there was no gradient. It's like, you're a child and then you assume your adulthood responsibilities fairly early on and you're adult now. There's no in between time, which is 10 years of school is kind of like the in between time. Maybe at like high school or something, where you could have been a productive member of society way sooner than you end up being. And now it's like, oh, I'm 18, I'm gonna go to university for another 4 years, and now you like really, most people don't become adults till like they're in their 30s, if you like really
Yeah,
think
you
about
know
how they
what?
behave.
I'll put I'll put extra fire into that, and I'll tell you this, right? There is also business in the educational industry.
Oh yeah.
The whole industry is a business in itself. So if you look at the like the kind of things that you learn between when you are like 15 to 18 thereabout. I don't even know how it works here, but it's not so different that you couldn't have learnt it when you were like in what they call high school. Like it's not like, oh, your brain could not comprehend what it is like, because I feel like it's just like extra time for you to invest more in the industry. And then I just genuinely think like the way the industry came about initially, like you said, was to prepare people for workforce. And over time, it started becoming like a multi-billion dollar industry that you pay school fees, you pay to be here. And if you make good with it, this is your life. If you don't, that's all still up to you. We're still gonna get money. We want more people to come. They advertise universities like it's like the best place for you to get. And I
Well,
think
the
one time I was
universities
listening.
is almost becoming like an experience to have as opposed to thing to do. Like
Like,
if you watch any of the like Hollywood like college movies from fairly early on till about like mid to 2010s, when it just political correctness killed that entire genre,
mhm.
like the school was never about learning stuff. It was all about like hooking up in parties and getting drunk and shit. So they sold
Yeah,
several generations this idea that like you get to go to university and have a lot of fun, and educational aspect of it was kind of mostly glossed over entirely. It's like how many school or uni type location type movies actually talk about like learning shit, as opposed to getting blackout drunk with your fraternity brothers or whatever.
to be honest, um, even if you want to learn stuff in school, I genuinely, I mean, maybe in other domains, for example, maybe in medicine or medical science, maybe you could argue that you actually learn important stuff within the walls of your classroom. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But I feel like in most of the domains, you go to uni for the degree that it gives you, like at the end of the day, you go for the paper, because most of what you learn in this place are things that you actually teach yourself, like
Yeah.
they could introduce you to it, but you cannot rely on only the things that you learned in the
Yeah.
classroom.
Well, we
You
spent we
have to,
spent quite a lot of time talking about that stuff. So
yeah. So,
I agree. I agree. The further along it goes, it gets kind of weirder. But then the other thing, to kind of briefly go back to the whole Hollywood thing, it's like you watch
mhm.
any high school drama or any kind of high school anime, it's all a bunch of backstabbing bitches or like plotting some horrible things to do to their
I don't even
classmates
know
all the
how.
time, you
I
know.
don't know how they
And
survive these
if
things, but that's
art imitates
brutal.
life, it's like, do you want that for your children? I don't think so.
No, no. I don't think I do either. But c'est la vie. If you don't get it in college, you could get it in real life. But why not prepare for it? You know. Anyway, it's perspective, Vasili. In the end, it
Yeah,
scares me a lot, but hopefully we make good decisions. Like
yeah.
as
Hopefully, well,
parent.
you know, you still
Yeah.
have more time to consider it before you will have to
And
consider it thoroughly. You
exactly.
know.
That's why I'm waiting for you now. I'm gonna, I'm gonna see what you decide. If it works out good, I take it as a lesson, So,
Yeah.
Onela,
Well,
be here.
we'll see. We'll see in 5 years. So,
Okay, Vasili.
okay. By the way, it's going. It's gonna be like what, episode 600-ish? No, probably. I don't know. So
We
make a
don't
mental
know.
note. Make a mental note.
Okay.
All
We'll
right,
be there.
Mo. Thanks so
Thank you,
much
Vasili.
for the conversation. We'll catch you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye.
Bye.